Hey guys, it's Mike Rich 94, clan leader of Darkbow DPS, and I was putting together a Vorago guide just for learners to be able to kind of reference to know the boss, and I noticed that there aren't too many straight up DPS guides. It's more for the roles themselves, so I figured that this would be helpful for someone that hasn't been there or has only been there a couple times. In terms of equipment, you're just going to pretty much wear your best DPS gear. There isn't necessarily anything special. You can bring a Phoenix necklace on the drop down because as it hits high typeless damage, the Phoenix necklace will go off and heal you on drop down. But that depends on the team size. If you have too large of a team, it won't work. And then if you're learning, make sure to have a Yak or a BOB. As you get better, you will transition into a Nihil because you'll soul split the entire kill. And I must apologize. It looks like my recorder got messed up a little bit, so I had to zoom in. So it's going to be a little bit more zoomed in than it should be, but hopefully it still gives you a good enough idea of what's going on so that you can know before going into a kill. And there's a few things as a learner. The most important things are making sure that you're not too far away from Vorago, because if you're too far, you're going to take bombs, which the bomb tank should be taking, and you'll likely die if you don't know how they work or you don't eat through them. And also it's important to be close enough to him, but not too close that you're taking melee hits. If you take melee hits, just take a step or two back, and that should be the perfect spot. But you want to be kind of probably around 3 steps away, 2 to 3, just to make sure you're not taking melee hits and you're not far enough away to take bombs. The second most important thing is to make sure you get off for reflex. And these happen on phases 2 and on, but pretty much what's going to happen is he'll do 5 smashes and then 3 attacks, and then after that he'll reflex. So for learners, what I like to do is have them get off either a little bit before the third hit or on the third hit. And by getting off, what I mean is clicking on the ground, using a defensive, making sure auto retaliate is off, not attacking, because it'll reflect 100% to one of our teammates, which might kill them. So what's going to happen is at the start, someone's going to be chosen to challenge Vorago, and you should get a pop-up. It'll say something like he challenged Vorago, yes or no. Make sure you hit yes. If you do not get a pop-up, you have to right-click his face and click challenge. Otherwise, you'll not drop down with the team. Then there'll be a couple seconds, and there will be 50,000 damage split evenly among the team. So the more people there are on the team, the less damage everyone takes, but pretty much you'll get hit a high hit, depending, it's split evenly from 50k, then you'll drop down. And as a learner, what you have to make sure you do is run north from the center, because if you're south, you're going to start taking bombs from the bomb tank. And pretty much the way that works is if you're the farthest out from Vorago, you're going to start taking bombs, and that should be the bomb tank. But if you're farther than the bomb tank or equal distance, you're going to start taking bombs yourself. So you definitely want to avoid that. But like I said, on drop down, just run north. Now the base is going to lure Vorago to the northeast corner. So you want to be kind of in the center but north to make sure you're in the right position. Now you can soul split pretty much the entire fight. It just depends on the rotations. But you want to be using soul split and standing not far enough out there taking bombs, but not close enough to Vorago that you're going to get melee hits. And this is extremely important to the entire kill as a learner, because you don't want to be taking bombs because you'll likely die if you don't know the mechanics to it. And if you're too close, you can get hit melee hits, which can hit, 3k, 4k, something like that. One other thing, if you get a message that says you have a red bomb sent after you run, you need to make sure you run away from the group, but not far enough out that you're going to start taking bombs, like I mentioned earlier. So pretty much, if you get the message, just run kind of more horizontally away from the group. You don't want to go kind of away from Vorago so far that you're past the bomb tank and you're going to start taking bombs. So just kind of run away from the group. It'll hit you. If you do it correctly, it'll hit you 2k. But the closer you are to other people will increase the damage. So it might do 3k, 4k, 5k if you're too close to people. So that's why you run out, take it, and then run back in. You might get a blue with it, so just pray magic. You can use devotion, you can resonance it with your shield. Just you can't do that for the red bomb. So you're just going to keep DPSing Vorago. There's a role called TL5, Top Lure 5. He's going to be climbing up the rocks and getting ready to jump on Vorago. So we're just going to keep damaging them down, making sure in a good distance you're not taking melee hits or getting bombs. The TL5 is going to evoke Vorago, and then you should stay put because Vorago's going to move west when he evokes it. So as long as you're not melee distance, you should be fine. You might have to move in a little bit, and by in, I mean just closer to Vorago so you don't take bombs. But if you're not taking melee hits or bombs, once he hits 0, he's going to start jumping around. There'll be shadows on the ground. Make sure that you're not under the shadows, otherwise you'll take damage, kind of depending how close you are to the shadow. So just keep moving around. You can use Surge. So for this next phase, phase 2, as a learner, the most important thing is knowing when to click off. And I will go over that. But on drop down, you want to go kind of in the center, not dead center. Vorago's going to be in the center, but just kind of like around the center. You don't want to be on the outskirts of the arena or the area, otherwise you're going to take bombs, like I mentioned in the first phase. So what happens first is there's smashes, which will be taken by the 3 people with rolls, so you don't have to worry about that. So he's going to do 5 smashes. He might move around a little bit. Then he's going to do 3 attacks and then off. So you want to get off either on the 3rd attack or a little bit before, just to be safe, especially as a learner. It'll say Vorago channels incoming damage to a random person on the team. If you continue attacking during this point, whoever was randomly selected will take 100% of the damage. So that's how people get PK'd. So what you're going to do is step on the ground, use a defensive, just make sure you're not using combat abilities, and make sure auto retaliate is off. After he does 3 attacks, you can get back on. You'll know that either it's the 3rd attack or he'll shoot a red bomb out of his hand. After that, it'll be 5 smashes again. So he might move around a little bit, but just kind of move accordingly. You want to keep kind of like a bubble around Vorago. It's 2 spaces if you're kind of on the side or behind him, and it's a little bit more if you're in front of him. So just try and be on the side of him or behind him. Continue using Soul Split, then get off at or before the 3rd hit, just to make sure that you're not accidentally PKing a team member. Now, if there's a gravity orb near you, you can click it. As long as it's not by the bomb tank, you don't want to get by the bomb tank because you're going to make it do more damage to them and yourself. So if it's by the bomb tank, they'll get it. But if it's just by you, kind of around or underneath Vorago, you can go ahead and click it. So we'll do this 4 times. It's 5 smashes, 3 attacks, and then off. Then click the orb, and you're going to repeat it 4 times. On the 4th time, once the orb is clicked, the camera will kind of zoom in on Vorago, and you're just going to spam click him. So just keep clicking him. Once he stands up, you can thresh out, or there's kind of the mantra at Vorago where you do Wild Magic, Dragon Breath, Asphyxiate, and then you want to build to 100% using defensives or basics, so you have it on phase 3. Phase 3 changes with every week. So in this particular recording, it's the end or purple bomb. I'll try and get video footage of every rotation so that I can just put it in. But for the end, he's going to put his arms up, and you got to run into where his arms are going to come down. And if you're on the outside, you just got to run to the other side. He'll go counterclockwise. So when his arm opens up, you'll be safe as long as you're staying on the other side of it. So he's going to move around. You're going to want to have 100% at the end and a shield so that you can use barricade. So his arms will continue to move around, keep moving, damaging them. In phase 3, whenever his HP hits 0, the phase is over. So in better teams, you'll prioritize damage. So for this, the bomb tank will hit the purple bomb, and then everyone's going to barricade and run away from each other. If you're close to people, you might accidentally kill someone because the damage is increased by how close you are to someone else. And then he does reflex, so you got to make sure you're off, just like in phase 2. Once the red bomb comes out again, you can attack, and he's going to spread his arms again, go underneath. This time, barricade will be on cooldown, so you want to use magic, pray, and devotion at the end, but for now you can prioritize like thresholds. You can glitch out if you stand where his arm opens up and then 1 or 2 spaces after that, and then you can kind of get out of his little rotation. That might help damage more. But yeah, as we get to the purple bomb, make sure you're 50% in magic pray. the bomb tank will click the purple bomb and make sure to run away, but not too far out. You don't want to take bomb tank bombs. So just kind of run in a circle around him, use magic, prayer, and devotion, and eat through it because you will get damaged a little bit. But you can continue attacking because there's no reflect this time. If the DPS isn't fast enough, he'll do it again, but you should definitely be able to get him to 0 after that. Once he hits 0, the phase is done, he'll start to jump again. So phase 4, the beginning is the same for every phase. It's going to be immediately a waterfall. So you're going to run to one of the 4 corners. If you're with us on Discord, we'll try and let you know what direction to go. You need to make sure you're all the way in. If you're not all the way in, you'll get hit full damage, which is a little bit over 9k. So you got to eat above full if you're not going to make it. You can spam quick Vorago once you're in the waterfall, and then you're going to want to run in so you don't take bombs. The bomb tank will stay where we were, so if you stay around where the bomb tank is, you'll start taking bombs. So you run in, damage them. There'll be some stone clones. They use the same style as you. So if you're using magic, pray magic, range, use range. They can bind you and use abilities like that, so just make sure you're watching out for that. So in this particular P4, he's doing the end again. So you run between the arms, damage him down. This time he has a damage reduction. It's either 90 or 95%. So damage isn't as important. It's more if you want the DPS drop. But just keep moving around, build to 100%, and get ready to use barricade again when the bomb tank hits the purple bomb. So the bomb tank's going to hit the purple bomb, use barricade with your shield at 100% adrenaline. Then run away from people. And then this time it's going to be 3 attacks and then off. It's 5 if you count some of the bombs, but you just get ready to get off. Then you wait 3 attacks, and then he'll do waterfall again. So just use a defensive, make sure you're not attacking. You can get in a hit really quick, and then it'll be a waterfall again. Run to whatever corner it's in. If you're not going to make it, you get above full health to make sure that you don't die. Then you're going to run in immediately. If you don't run in, you're going to take bombs with the bomb tank. You're going to damage Vorago. He's going to do the stone clones again. So make sure you're looking out. There'll be an arrow over its head if it's yours. If not, just keep DPSing. Then he's going to do the special again, which is going to be the end. This time we don't have to use devotion. You can continue using barricade because it'll be off cooldown. So he's opening his arms. Make sure you run in. If you miss it, just stay on the kind of where the counterclockwise arm will open up. Otherwise, you'll die to the typeless damage. So you keep running around, keep damaging them. Just remember you're going to have 100% at the end of this to use barricade, so build up to that. You can use some thresholds, but just make sure you can get back to 100. Otherwise, you can use devotion and magic prayer like we did in phase 3. So the bomb tank's going to hit the purple bomb, use barricade, run around Vorago away from people. And then it's going to be a couple attacks and then off again. So you can damage him down, get ready to get off. Okay, then you're going to click on the ground. I recommend using the defensive to make sure you're not using a damage ability. If you're Mark 2, you can use resonance in case someone doesn't get off on time, so at least you'll heal instead of get damaged. He's going to do the waterfall one last time. Run to the corner. Get ready to click in. You can use an ability or spam click Vorago to run in. Make sure you run in so you don't take bombs. Get his HP down to 0 so you use thresholds, and then build to 100. You want to have 100 on the drop down because it makes things a little bit easier. So you're just going to jump around again. Phase 5 is a DPS battle with Vorago, so as he deals damage to us, we'll get pushed back, and as we deal damage to him, he'll get pushed back. So it's important to know what to do to prevent us getting pushed back to make it easier and take less time. So as a learner, it's going to be important to not use the freedom ability unless you have a bleed. I'll go over that in a second, but pretty much don't adrenaline stall with freedom. It's bad. It's going to end up hurting us more than it helps right now. So use other abilities like anticipate, preparation, resonance. So for this particular rotation with the end, it's going to be purple bomb as a special. So as we drop down, you're going to run to the south wall and everyone's going to stand there. Then you might get a timer. If you get a timer when it says 5 or 6 seconds left, you're going to run north away from the group to take the bomb. You're going to let it hit you. Then you're going to run south again. This is to help prevent spreading the damage so that we get pushed back even more. Then you're going to get ready to get off for reflex. After reflex, he's going to start smashing, which is when you can start attacking again. What you're going to want to do is, if you get a buff bar icon that looks like dismember, the melee ability, it's 3 orange slashes. If you have that, that means you're bled, and you have to use the freedom ability to clear it. And this is why you don't adrenaline stall with freedom earlier, because if you have it on cooldown, it's going to end up pushing us back more. If you don't have freedom, or if you get bled twice, you can surge or escape away, but get ready because you might take a bomb, or you can pray melee prayer and use devotion. But pretty much you just want to lessen the damage in this so we don't get pushed back. But if you're not using freedom to adrenaline stall, you should have it. Use it right when you get the bleed icon on your bar, and then keep attacking. After the third attack, you can use onslaught, which will be very helpful in the pushback. If you don't have onslaught, you can drop an ultimate like Sunshine or Death Swiftness. So you're going to keep damaging them back. Depending on the push, you might have to do this again. But if the push is good enough, the TL5 can go and swing them all and finish the fight. But if you don't quite get it, he'll do the purple bomb again. And then you're going to have to do what I mentioned again, which is if there's 5 seconds remaining, you run north from the group, take the bomb, then run back and get ready to get off for reflex. Then it'll be smashes again. Use freedom to clear the smash. If you get bled twice, you can pray melee or devotion or escape or surge away. But if you do escape or surge, you gotta get ready to take a bomb. So use resonance or magic pray, depending. And then this time onslaught will be on cooldown, so you can use an ultimate, Sunshine or Death Swiftness, use some thresholds, and then push him to the end. Once he's at the end, the TL5 will be able to smash him, and then that's the end of the kill. So for phase 3 for ceiling collapse week, you're going to get ready to move when Vorago jumps and avoid the shadows on the ground because rocks will fall down and hit 8k typeless damage if you're the only one, and it'll be less the more people that hit it. But it's much better just to dodge it and then get ready to move in as soon as you can towards Vorago, like using surge or whatever, to make sure that you're not going to be taking bombs. For the first time, you're going to get off immediately for reflex and wait till you can click back on. Then continue attacking Vorago. He will jump a second time, and for this time, try and get 100% adrenaline so you can use onslaught, but make sure you only use it when you're close to Vorago and you've ran in so you're not taking bombs. From here, you're just going to get his HP to 0 and the phase is done. Phase 4 for ceiling collapse is going to be the same as the other phase 4s. There's one notable difference where any rocks left over in phase 3 will fall down and can hit you if you're underneath them. The bomb tank is supposed to destroy the one in the middle, so if they did that, you can stand in the middle and be safe. Otherwise, just stand wherever you were in P3 on drop down and a rock will not hit you. Now it's going to be the same as the other phase 4s. The first thing is going to be a waterfall. Get ready to run into it. Make sure you're all the way in. If you can't get into it because there's a rock in the way, the bomb tank or someone else will take care of it. Once you're in the waterfall, spam click Vorago to make sure that you run out afterwards so you don't take bombs. Then it'll be stone clones, destroy them. Remember that they use the same combat style as you and they can use abilities that can bind you and whatnot. After stone clones, get ready to move when Vorago jumps and stay as close to him as possible to avoid taking bombs. You're going to be avoiding the shadow on the ground like in phase 3, otherwise you can take up to 8k typeless damage. Once everyone's in, Vorago will start to do 5 smashes like in phase 2. Then he'll do 3 attacks and then off for reflect. You're going to repeat this twice, and on the last waterfall, you're going to come out and thresh out and get his HP down to 0, and then you can go into phase 5. For phase 5 ceiling collapse, it's going to be team split on drop down, and if you haven't done this, pretty much Vorago will mark the team into either red or blue colors. If you don't know what color you are, or you can't tell, or it doesn't really look like either, it's red. You're going to run into the box on the ground that's the same color. If you do it incorrectly, if you're outside of the box, you'll get hit high typeless damage, so just make sure that you're in the right box. Once you're in the box, you can spam click Vorago and then get ready to immediately run on the south wall. It's going to be 3 total attacks after team split ends, and then you're going to get off for reflex. Then he'll do 3 smashes, so make sure that you're not using freedom to adren stall. Only use freedom when you have the buff bar icon, the 3 slashes. After the 3rd smash, you're going to be using onslaught, and that should be the end of the phase. If not, you'll just repeat the same thing as needed until you get to the end. The way that the drops work, you probably will not get a drop as a learner, because the way that the drops work is, for the first 4 phases, the way it works is 3 people have a chance of getting the drop for every phase, and those are the person who takes the most bombs, which should be the bomb tank, the tank itself, the one that has Vorago's aggression and his melee distance, or the person that has the top DPS. So between those 3, one of them will get the drop per phase. On the 5th phase, it's random because it's whoever Vorago looks at the end. So if you don't get a drop, don't be discouraged. Normally what we do, especially on long teams, is we'll split the energy, which run for about 980k as of this recording. So we'll split it evenly at the end. Obviously, the more people, the lower the split. And then we also split the rares, which are the Seismic 1 and the Seismic Singularity. So those can be some nice splits, even with a high amount of people. But hopefully this guide helps you, especially if you're learning. This might help before you even go to the boss. You have kind of an idea of what to do. But pretty much as a learner, the main things to watch out for are your distance to Vorago, to make sure you're not too far out and you're taking bombs, but you're not too close so you take melee hits. And also to get off for reflex so that you're not PKing the team. P5 is also important to make sure you know what you're doing, because that will directly influence how long it takes and how hard the fight is. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful, and thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to DM me in game or on Discord, and I'll try and answer your questions and hopefully, sort anything out that you were had any questions about. So thanks again for watching, and have